if you think like making a show reel would not, it would be like just cutting out like parts of your work and it will not give very in-depth understanding of your skill set, then just go for an ArtStation page or a Behance page. Put your projects one by one, but when like 100% make a process video, BTS, because that is very important. That is where if you're just putting up the final renders, final animation film, I don't know if how much you contributed to that. You have to be very clear of what exactly you have worked on, what was the idea behind it, what was the process you followed, because that reflects your skill set very clearly. That gives the best clarity, I would say.
And what software you used for it, right? Yeah. So even in your show reel, try to add like 1 or 2 lines, as text on the video itself of either your breakdown or what your process was or what you are trying to show with that, right? Because again, as Adya mentioned, when I'm looking at profiles, being very honest with you, the decision is made in the first 30 seconds. If the person hasn't made any effort to make an excellent show reel even for me, what guarantee do I have that they will put that effort when they are actually an employee, right? So that's where the decision making already starts from. The other thing, ArtStation, right? Very, very important. And the last one being, always think about it from the perspective of your recruiter, right? Don't send them a Google Drive link and then pata chala permissions nahi hai uske liye. They're not going to ask you for it again. It'll immediately go in the reject pile, right? Do not send an attachment of a video which they have to, which is a zipped file and they have to download and all of that. Koi nahi karne wala hai. I'm being very honest with you. And I would suggest the top favorites usually are YouTube, Vimeo, something like that, because that way you can also keep checking in terms of views, right? People can comment, give feedback, all of that. So YouTube, Vimeo would be your best choices.
Yeah, I think Vimeo would be good because when you register, you can get your own, like vimeo.com/ if your name is available, then you can get your entire name. So that's always a good.
Less distractions.
Yeah, there's, sorry? Yeah, less distractions. So like if you go and you can even just go register your Vimeo page today itself, baad mein upload kar dena. But if your username is available, then you can just say I'm on Vimeo as this and that domain is yours for then. I think Vimeo is a good one for this.
I also want to add one more thing. When you're like presenting, nowadays we are like having many interviews which are online and you're talking about your work. So make sure while you are talking about it, you're also presenting your screen and showing the work, because to a recruiter it would just seem like, okay, you're just talking, there's no and you could have just shared a show reel link or ArtStation or Behance, but if you're just presenting that work and then talking about it, it makes much more difference.
One more thing, guys, when you're going to talk to someone for an interview, always do research about who you're going to talk to, even if you just look at the first page of their website or anything like that, because they will want to know that you are interested in them, not just for job, money, whatever, even though practically, I know, we all need jobs because that's how the world works, but especially because we're in the creative field, they want to know that you want to be a part of their company for something more than just having a job, because we always put a bit of ourselves when we're in the creative field. So glance at the web page. This will save you from embarrassment, because from a personal story, I had an interview with Nick and they had like launched some new initiative which I didn't know about. And so they asked me, do you know about it? And I was like, no. And then I got like a whole, oh, okay. So always look at your company's website before going. Very easy 5-minute job before your interview.
And just one last thing I'd like to add, right, is say for someone like me who's been in production since she graduated, I had no show reel, or rather, even if I did have of my work that I had done while studying animation, that's not the post I was applying for, right? So make sure your show reel reflects the kind of profile you want over there. You want to join as a surfacing artist, show more of that work, show that first, right? The later half of your video can be about your other skills and additional skills. Coming back to, say, if you're looking for a managerial position or anything that comes as a part of support staff, right? So there are artists and then there is support. So that support could be, say, your tech team, production, anything of that sort. that's when your speaking skills, the way you present yourself, becomes that much more important, because people like us have one less thing to show, right? We don't have a show reel. So you need to make sure you present yourself well in both ways, physically as well as the way you talk. And network. There are so many people here, right? These could be your future colleagues, your future employers. We have time for lunch. Come up to us, make conversation with us. I promise you, we are not intimidating or scary or anything of that sort, right? Reach out to people on LinkedIn as well. You will not believe what a great resource LinkedIn is. And coming to your CV resume bit back over here, make sure your LinkedIn is updated, right? Do not put a picture of you having like a beer as your profile photo. ये सब check करते हैं लोग, right? So just these kind of small things. Facebook, I would advise that you keep it a private profile. Many recruiters do background checks. And of course, that's your personal life. But I'm just saying it's something some people and some companies look at. So might as well keep it private and then continue uploading whatever you want to do.
Go ahead, sorry.
I think that covers things on this front. Should we move to the interview bit itself?
Yeah, I think I wanted to change some gears and add to couple of points which I personally feel are very important for me to share. You all guys want to like succeed, right? You all want jobs, right? Yes? And you all are going to give priority for your jobs, correct? Because you'll keep applying, and you'll keep applying till you make it. So it's funny, like I realized this particular thing after working in the industry for many years. I was passionate as well, like you guys, but I was more behind jobs and opportunities rather than focusing on the core important aspect. Please listen very carefully what I'm going to say now. If we take care of our art, animation, and our work, that will take care of our job, our success, and everything else. What I mean by this is, your success has to be a byproduct of you having fun and taking pride in the kind of work you create, and anyone else who look at your work should admire it. That should be your goal. Automatically, if you can make this happen, suddenly you will succeed. So your success has to be a byproduct of you having fun and absolutely enjoying it, and make sure that everybody enjoys your work. And remember, guys, gone are those days where we try to think about, oh, I do basic stuff and things like that. Nowadays, literally all the studios in animation, visual effects, and games are creating content for global audience. And when you get started, you will get started to work on an international show, and it's not going to be like just for yourself. When you're a student, you will have that kind of thing, oh, fine, I do good work, now I'll focus on job. If you only focus on like, when will I apply? No, when are you ready to apply? And you keep improvising. And another thing what I realized is, whatever you are learning now is good, you are getting education, but your original education will start on the day you get your first job. And this will be a lifelong learning process. It doesn't matter after you finish your course, keep improving your skills, keep practicing, keep improving your portfolio, and keep updating your portfolio. And it doesn't matter even if you get your first job or second job, keep trying to keep doing some new works and keep updating your portfolio. Yeah.
Just to add to what Shiva said, so every day you'll see like new tech coming in. Unreal Engine launched MetaHumans last year. This year they launched Mesh to MetaHuman. So you could create your custom MetaHumans from a photo scan. Now, if you feel like, if you get too comfortable with what you're doing and you don't, you just want to continue that doing the same thing, then after some point you will not grow. So especially in this field, it is very competitive. It's very important to keep yourself updated how much you can, right? Like obviously somebody would be much more knowledgeable, much more aware, would be doing much more R&D than you, but just don't be intimidated by new tech or software, because at the end of the day, it's the concepts and concepts that matter. I mean, I also started with Maya, then moved on to Mari Substance, then Cinema 4D, then Unreal. It's at the end of the day, it's the same thing. So just don't be intimidated by software. It's really only the concept that is important and the fundamentals.
It's a tool at the end of the day, right? Nothing more than that. And exactly what Nida said about improving yourself, and Siva also mentioned the same thing, right? Everyone has seen ball bounce animation. Everyone has seen walk cycle, right? So don't keep doing the same old things. Do something new. And again, that's where your passion will reflect, right? If someone, I remember someone had an idea for a VR story. What research have they done in VR, right? If that comes through within, if not your resume, in your showreel, if not your showreel, in your interview, right? Some place to make yourself stand out of the crowd. That I would say is very important.
I think we've covered it. Yeah. If anybody.
One last thing is I read this online and I found it very helpful wherever I've gone next, which is something called the STAR approach, right? And this is something you can actually do. And this starts at your resume level and can also be at your interview. So when you're describing any role at your previous company or any activity also that you were a part of or any course that you studied, right? This is the step you should follow. So S, describe the situation at hand. T, what was the task? A, what were you assigned to do for it? And R was something, but I can't remember the